Education for Social Change, Rethinking School Curriculum. If education is meant to transform society, then why does it so often reinforce the very structures that need dismantling? Why do we tell students that learning is about obedience rather than inquiry, about following rules rather than questioning them? If we believe that education should create socially aware, critically engaged individuals, then shouldn't it encourage students to challenge injustice, interrogate systems of power, and actively participate in shaping a better world? Why do we treat language and literature as if they exist separate from history, from oppression, from resistance? Shouldn't students read and write in ways that expose them to silenced voices, marginalized histories, and revolutionary ideas? Instead of confining students to a narrow literary canon, why not encourage them to explore the power of storytelling as a form of activism, as a tool to reclaim lost narratives, as a way to speak truth to power? If language is one of the most powerful tools for social change, shouldn't students be taught to use it as such? And what about critical thinking? Do we truly foster it, or do we only allow questioning within safe, pre-approved boundaries? If education is meant to empower students to think independently, then why do so many classrooms still function as hierarchies, where the teacher's word is final, where students are trained to find the right answer rather than develop their own perspectives? What would happen if we stopped treating students as passive recipients of knowledge and instead created classrooms that operated as spaces of real dialogue, where students and teachers learn from each other, where assumptions are challenged, where knowledge is not fixed but constantly evolving? And beyond the classroom, how do we expect students to develop a sense of global responsibility if they are only ever taught about the world from the perspective of their own nation, their own culture, their own history? If we want students to become agents of social change, then shouldn't they be encouraged to see themselves as part of a global community, to understand the interconnectedness of struggles, to question the forces that shape economies, governments, and cultures? What if students weren't just taught about the world, but were given the tools to actively engage with it, to connect with communities beyond their own, to see education not as preparation for life, but as part of life itself? And what of emotional intelligence? Do we equip students with the resilience, the self-awareness, the empathy needed to navigate a world of injustice while working to change it? Do we help them develop the ability to process anger and frustration constructively, to engage in difficult conversations, to balance activism with personal well-being? Or do we send them into the world without these tools, expecting them to create change without ever teaching them how to sustain themselves through the struggle? If education does not prepare students emotionally as well as intellectually, how can we expect them to create meaningful, lasting change? And finally, why do we teach students that work is something they must do rather than something they can shape? Why do we train them for jobs instead of helping them discover their purpose? If education is truly about social transformation, then shouldn't we encourage students to create, to innovate, to redefine what work looks like? Shouldn't they be taught that their skills and passions can be used to build communities, to uplift others, to disrupt broken systems rather than simply fit into them? If education only prepares students to conform to existing structures, then how can we claim it is preparing them to change the world? If we truly believe that education should serve as a catalyst for social change, then we must ask ourselves, are we teaching students to accept the world as it is? Or are we equipping them with the vision, the courage, and the skills to transform it?